week, a wild weekend at Williams Grove sees the Outlaws end their winless streak. Plus, highlights from last week's Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup Twin 30s. And the highlights are also in from the Super DIRTcar Series Big Blocks at Autodrome Granby. This and more next on 4 Wide Weekly. Friday night was night number 1 of the Summer Nationals at Williams Grove Speedway, and Casey Kane was on track in the number 49 machine until Craig Delansky makes contact with Kane, sending the 49 machine somersaulting throughout the air and out of the speedway. Casey was A-OK. This did happen in preliminary action. He was clearly done for the night. As the A-main rolled around, it was the hometown outlaw Lucas Wolf and Steve Kinzer starting on row number 1, with Kinzer getting the early advantage in the 11 machine down the back straightaway. But quickly chasing down the king was one of the posse, Greg Hodnett, in the Trone Outdoor car number 39, moves for the race lead to the inside out of corner number 4, looking to keep the PA Posse streak alive at Williams Grove Speedway. Donnie Schatz, a former master of Williams Grove, he was on the move in this race as well, pulling to the inside of Lucas Wolf down the front straightaway to take that position into corner number 1. But nobody had anything for the posse and Greg Hodnett on this night. He gets the win in the Trone Outdoor car number 39. Kinzer came home in second, Darren Pittman in third ahead of Sammy Swindell and fast Freddie Raymer. Friday night at the Grove also featured the inaugural Morgan Cup, hitting the best of the posse against the Outlaws, and it was Jason Sides and Lance DeWeese starting up there on row number 1, and this 12-lap 4,000-to-win affair saw Jason Sides in the 7S machine out of Bartlett, Tennessee, run away to victory, chalking one up for the Outlaws. Stevie Smith came across the line in second, the highest finishing posse car. Jason Myers came home third ahead of Lance DeWeese and Greg Hodnett in the top 5. Night number 2 of the Summer Nationals on Saturday night saw 2 Outlaws on row number 1, Jason Myers and Cody Dara. And it was your defending Outlaws Series champion Myers getting out to the early race lead. Lap 2, however, coming down the front straightaway, Sammy Swindell and Paul McMahon make contact. McMahon hits the outside wall on the front straightaway, tumbling down the main straightaway. McMahon would be A-OK in the KKR Roth number 83. But McMahon done for the evening. On the restart, Myers once again pulls out into the race lead. Cody Dara slips high and at the same time breaks out of corner number 2. A tough break for the driver in the Great Clips number 91. Dara sees his night come to an end. From that point on, it was all Jason Myers and Stevie Smith. Myers in the race lead, Smith trying to chase him down in the Zemco number 1 machine. Greg Hodnett had to work his way through the field as well. He pulls to the inside of Lucas Wolf on the inside of corner number 3. But Hodnett nor the posse could win this one. The Outlaws pick up their first win since July of 2008, and Jason Myers gets his first career win at Williams Grove Speedway.
For the first time in his career, Jason Myers, and he's got a local guy next to him, a fellow named Charlie Garrett.
I tell you what, we've been trying for this for a long time, and I got one of the best guys in the business right here. He's not only our engine builder, but he's part of this team, and we call him Coach. You know, he coaches us when we're down and keeps digging for us, and he just builds an incredible motor. We won a championship last year because we never fell out of a race. And, you know, he just keeps building this awesome stuff. Him and Scott, they're in the shop working hard every week. And
Stevie Smith brought home a second-place finish for the posse ahead of Donnie Schatz, Greg Hodnett, and Sammy Swindell. On Sunday, the Outlaws moved to the high banks of Lebanon Valley Speedway in the Great Empire State with the Madman Kerry Madsen and Craig Delansky leading the field to green. Madsen led early on until he hopped the cushion here in corner number 2, allowing the crowd pleaser to get by for the race lead down the back straightaway. Jason Myers would then pull to the inside in corner number 3 to take the runner-up spot away from Madsen as well as they came down the front chute. As Myers comes across the stripe to complete the lap, there's trouble in corner number 2. Anthony Kane ends up on his lid right in front of the leaders, bringing out the red flag. On the restart, Delansky goes to the high side, giving Myers the bottom, and Hotfoot takes the lead into corner number 1. Steve Kinzer, the Outlaws' all-time leader in wins in New York State, would next chase after Delansky into corner number 1, pulling to the low side. But right as Kinzer makes the pass, there's red on the speedway again. Bill Rose, Sammy Swindell, and Craig Kinzer all come together in corner number 4. As a result, they revert back to the last completed lap, a single file restart, which also puts Delansky back in front of the field, relegating Myers back to the runner-up position. Delansky would go on to cross the line for his 6th win of the season.
I mean, it's just great to get in Victory Lane here tonight. Great racetrack, great crowd here tonight, and like you said, I mean, Kerry got up over the cushion there in turn 1, and we were able to take advantage of it at that point and felt pretty good. And then we had a double file restart, and I kind of spun the tires. We went a little harder on tires, and it seems like it takes a little bit for them things to get going. But man, what a team effort! Big game tree stands, aggressive hydraulics, caravan trailers, my crew, my wife, my daughter here tonight. Just great team victory.
Jason Myers clearly unhappy with the call on the race's final restart.
Yeah, I mean, first place in my book tonight. I don't know, the officials don't know how to call a race. That's a week ago, the same thing happened, and they let the lap stand. So, we can't control what they do, unfortunately, and they can't seem to get it right. So, it's unfortunate. These guys work really hard. All these sponsors they work hard to stand behind this car. These guys worked their tails off tonight, and we had the car that should have won the race. So, congratulations to Craig. He didn't do nothing wrong. He just he benefited from it. So it's unfortunate, it really is. But incredible crowd here tonight. Thanks for coming out. And thanks for cheering for us. Thanks for supporting sprint car racing.
Steve Kinzer with another top 5 run came home in 3rd ahead of Kerry Madsen and Darren Pittman. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly.
These renegades play hard and dirty.
No trouble, a vicious crash on the front straightaway.
The World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series on Speed.
Cars upside down in turn 2.
Rough, tough, dangerous.
Trouble, right in front of the leader.
This is racing on the ragged edge.
Car upside down hard, big time crash.
The World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series Kings Royal. Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. Last week we promised you highlights from the Silver Cup Twin 30s, so here we go. Danny Lasowski going away on the pole. Dale Blaney, the lowrider on the outside of row number 1, and it was Blaney pulling out to the race lead down the back straightaway early on. This would prove to be Blaney's race through and through. Although Craig Delansky was making some moves, he pulls to the inside of Lasowski here in corner number 1 to take the runner-up spot. But Blaney ran away with twin number 1. The driver from Hartford, Ohio, gets the $15,000 payday. Tim Schaefer came on for 2nd ahead of Delansky, Lasowski, and Jason Myers. Twin number 2 from Lernerville last Tuesday saw a complete invert of the field, putting Casey Kane and Danny Smith on the front row as they battle down the back straightaway. Smith would get the advantage going into corner number 3. With Smith out in front, Brian Ellenberger ends up on his lid on the front straightaway, collecting several other cars, including Craig Kinzer and Chad Kemena. Each driver would be okay. On the restart, Steve Kinzer begins to mount his charge, moving past Sammy Swindell in corner number 2. Next, going for the race leader, Danny Smith. But Tyler Walker and Sammy Swindell get together. Swindell goes over Danny Lasowski with nowhere to go. Lasowski was transported to an area hospital for observation, but was released the following day. Tim Schaefer began to make his move. The driver from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Here he takes the race lead from Steve Kinzer out of corner number 2 as Kinzer goes up and over the bank, headed down the back straightaway. Nobody would touch Schaefer in the final laps as he goes on to get his 2nd World of Outlaws win of the season. Schaefer now a 2-time Silver Cup champion.
I asked you if you wanted to talk on the PA during that last red flag. You winked at me and said, I'm hoping we're going to talk a little bit later. Congratulations.
Thanks. I just got to thank CH Motorsports, Kiss Their Engine, to change A chassis, VRP shocks, just everybody, all the guys that come on this car and work. It's just a great car to drive.
Looking at the Outlaws standings after this past weekend, Jason Myers holds an 18-point advantage on Donnie Schatz. The Outlaws next in action tonight, July 27th at Ohsweken Speedway. Then again on Friday at Brockville, Ontario, before wrapping up the Canada Swing Saturday at Autodrome Drummond. The Super DIRTcar Series Big Blocks were also in action last Tuesday night with a 100-lap affair at Autodrome Granby. And it was T-Bone Justin Hares in the Phelps Cement Products car number 3 pulling out into the early race lead. But here getting pressure from Francois Bernier and David Hebert. Eventually Hebert would take the race lead. Super Matt Shepard pulls through as well into the runner-up spot. But like we've seen all season long, Super Matt would eventually get the edge. Shepard out of Waterloo, New York, comes out of corner number 4 to pick up his second Super DIRTcar Series win of 2011. 12 wins overall on the Big Block Trail this season. Danny Johnson crossed the line in second, but was DQ'd for being light at the scales. Brett Hearn, Martin Waugh, and Billy Decker were the top 5. Decker continues to lead the series standings over Matt Shepard, Brett Hearn, and Danny Johnson. The Super DIRTcar Series next in action Monday, August 1st at Merrittville Speedway, followed up by Lebanon Valley Speedway on Monday, August 25th. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly. In the world of Outlaws, there is no event bigger, harder, or longer than the Ironman. Coming to Peebly's I-55 Raceway, Saturday, August 6th. The Ironman 55. One giant show for the world of Outlaws. Kinzer, Myers, Delansky, Schatz, and all the Wing Warriors. It's the Outlaws' ultimate test. 55 laps crowning Sprint Car Racing's Ironman. Money-saving advance tickets are on sale now at worldofoutlaws.com. The Ironman 55. One night only. Saturday, August 6th. I-55 Raceway, Peebly. Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. Thanks to the folks at Sports Plus Video and DirtOnDirt.com, we have the highlights from last night's World of Outlaws event at Dog Hollow Speedway in Strongstown, Pennsylvania. And it was your series point leader, Rick Eckert, and Outlaws rookie, Ron Davies, starting in row number 1. Davies looking really good from the drop of the green, leading out front early on. But Darrell Lanigan, the Bluegrass Bandit, he was on the move, pulling to the inside of Rick Eckert out of turn number 2 for the runner-up spot. Later on, he would chase down Davies for the race lead to the inside in turn number 1 to take the top spot. Lanigan in the number 29 would pull on to the race win, his 5th World of Outlaws Late Model Series victory of 2011. Still trying to pull himself back into the championship battle after missing the first race of the season. Eckert came home in second ahead of Josh Richards, Tim McCready, and Davies. Eckert continues to lead the series standings by 54 points over Josh Richards and 104 points over Timmy McCready. The Outlaws next in action tonight at McKean County Raceway, then again on Sunday at Erie Speedway in Hammett, Pennsylvania, before their next event Wednesday, August 3rd at Shawano Speedway. With a win Saturday night at Williams Grove Speedway, Jason Myers takes the top spot in this week's 4Wide.TV Power Rankings. Your Autodrome Granby feature winner, Matt Shepard, sits in position number 2, ahead of Shannon Babb, Craig Delansky, and Brett the Jet Hearn from the Super DIRTcar Series in the top 5. Be sure to tune in to next Wednesday's edition of 4 Wide Weekly as the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series takes on Ohsweken Speedway. The World of Outlaws late models head to Erie Speedway in Hammett, Pennsylvania, and the Super DIRTcar Series moves to Merrittville.